3, 3,
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Halftime here on the Brew Sports Network. It is Thursday, but more importantly, far more importantly, Tanner Burke is back.
Hello.
Hey.
I made it.
How are you, Tanner
I
Burke?
made it back in one piece.
My gosh. Let's just say you look a little tanner.
I was gonna try and get that out of the way before anybody else could take a stab at that. But yes, I am a little bit tanner.
Hey.
Thank you.
There he is. Look at him.
You know what's funny is
beautiful.
The first time I ever heard that joke, it was day 1 of the 7th grade, and my English teacher thought she was so clever, and she goes, "Tanner, like, I'm tanner than you," and I just looked at her as a 7th grader. I'm like, "You honestly think that's funny?"
Did you slap her?
I should have.
I would have slapped her.
I should have.
Been like, haha. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not.
You're so funny. Yes, I am a little bit tanner, though.
I'm not LaVar Ball. I actually
I got a little
respect
bit of a
women.
tan going on. No, it's not
You
bad.
look good. I mean, I went to Florida for 4 days. You went to Florida for what, a week?
Week, yes.
Hashtag who did it better?
I didn't
don't
get any
know.
sun until day 4 because
Why?
I
What were you doing?
lathered myself in sunscreen the first 3 days, and then day 4 came around. I was like, sunscreen, don't need it.
Your precious
Not for this guy.
Your precious buffalo
Yeah.
skin
And then,
didn't want to.
Yeah, and then I actually I got burnt everywhere. So, but it
I said your
evened
face
out.
is
Yeah,
peeling a little bit. I
bit.
can see that.
You know what's funny though? I gotta say, the entire trip, every single day, I saw either somebody wearing a Bills shirt, hat, sweater, or I saw something related to Buffalo. So things
I know.
made in Buffalo,
I
things
saw you were
from Buffalo.
You kept Snapchatting. You kept.
Oh
doing
my
like,
gosh,
Buffalo.
it was amazing. It was so fun. I mean,
Like,
day 1, literally, I get in the rental car, which was beautiful, by the way.
Right.
And we're driving to the hotel, and I stop at a red light, and the van in front of me, it was like a 78 like Mercury, and on the back bumper is a sticker that says FG Downing Town, and that's the car dealership I worked at in Buffalo for 3 years.
You're like, maybe I sold them their car.
It's like, holy cow, look at that.
You should have walked up and knocked on their glass, be like, "Hi, I used to work there. We do routine checks. I was in Florida.
I detailed this car 4 years ago.
Figured I want to follow up. Just want to make sure you're liking your car. We've got some great specials coming up for Memorial Day.
It was too funny.
That would be amazing. Well, cheers to you, sir.
Cheers.
It's wonderful to have you back.
It's good to be back.
My
it's good to be
Lord.
back. Ready to crack down and
Seriously.
get back to business. So.
Taking names, kicking some ass, all
You
that
know
things.
it.
Trevor says, well, good morning, boys. Good morning to
Good
you,
morning.
Trevor, and Jeff, and everybody else chiming in. We're going to be joined in just a wee bit by one of our great NHL correspondents, Justin Bradford.
Yes.
He is down in Smashville as he helps cover the Nashville Predators.
Man, what a town.
What a time to be alive.
Great food and great hockey right now,
Right?
for sure.
And even better looking people. When you see, when
I
you
mean,
see Justin.
Have you been to Nashville?
have been, yes.
Everyone's like a 10.
Right?
On all sides of the spectrum, like, man, it's impressive.
I know. I'm excited for you guys to see Justin a little bit. You're going to understand why we call him a 10 because he's a beautiful man.
Yes.
I don't say that about a lot of people, but he's a good-looking, beautiful sort of man.
Oh man.
If you're into that sort of thing. Anyway, all right, moving along with the show today. It is Thirsty Thursday, where we talk about all things in the sports world that we're thirsty about.
Yes.
If you're one person in the world that is thirsty right now for lots and lots of money and lots and lots of publicity, it is
here we go.
Mr. LaVar Ball.
Oh, here he is
Had
again,
to get
ladies
it.
and
Had
gentlemen.
to jump in. Had to get right at it.
LaVar Ball, first show back, of course.
He's got a lot of reasons to be thirsty.
Apparently, he's
Listen,
been talking about it for months.
We sat in the programming meeting and we said, listen, we could talk about Tim Tebow and his appearance on the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show, talking about his special needs prom. That's very adorable.
Yes, it is.
Or we could talk about LaVar Ball insulting women.
LaVar Ball's just
that's where
way
we need to
more
go.
like enticing.
Right. Tim Tebow dancing with a special needs girl isn't going to sell ratings, people. And actually, it is.
I mean, it probably-
it was,
yeah,
it was
yeah,
adorable,
it was
honestly. And I
adorable.
honestly take my hat off to you, Tim. You're an
Yes.
incredible person. But that's not at all why we're here.
No, but the whole. I mean, LaVar Ball's got multiple things going on right now in the media.
He really does. He really, really does. And
Also, we're trying to get LaVar Ball on the show, preferably this one. If we can get him on any, please let me have a chance to speak with that man. If we could get him in studio, that'd be great too. I'd love to hear him just pick apart everything that we have going on.
Right.
Here.
He's like, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I didn't say that. Like, you putting words in my mouth.
So if anybody out there knows how to reach LaVar Ball, aka go to Big Baller Brand's website, go to the Contact Me section, and say, hey, we want you on Bruce Sports. It would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, exactly. And I've come under some heat, Tanner, for if you haven't
on
heard.
Facebook?
On Facebook and on Twitter
and
as well.
I actually don't understand this.
I don't understand it either
somebody who-
because people have been firing back at me because I said that I'm trying to work on getting an interview with LaVar Ball, and the comments have just been absolutely surprising.
Ridiculous.
You people need to stay in your lane with your comments is really what it comes down to. But I don't think people understand why I'm trying to get this interview. People are probably just saying, oh, you're feeding the beast. You're giving him the publicity he doesn't deserve. That's not at all what I'm going for.
Let's just put things in perspective really quick. So the reason why we're trying to get this interview is the same reason why LaVar Ball is doing what he has been doing for his son. He's trying to get his son drafted first. Well, actually now he knows his son's getting drafted second overall because the only team that his son's going to go to is the Lakers. Regardless,
that'll make me drink right there.
We're going to exploit what has already been exploited to exploit and benefit ourselves.
Yes.
So, I mean, he's doing it. He's the king of it, and I'd love to talk to him about it.
Right, exactly. Like, part of me wants to, number one, have the conversation. Just be like, hey, I just want to talk to LaVar Ball because you see this polarizing figure, and I just want to talk to him. Be like, just help me get inside your mind. That's all I want to do.
That'd be great.
And then the other part of it is that I'm being greedy. I want him on the network.
Yeah.
I said this a couple days ago. If we had the ways and means to give him his own show on the network, I would do it. 1,000%. We might lose a lot of viewership. We might gain a whole lot of viewership because people would want to see what that is. We don't have a Skip Bayless. We don't have a Stephen A. Smith.
No, we have a Baxter Colburn and a Tanner Burke.
Right, exactly. Like, we need those polarizing figures. I can only be so polarizing because I still have to reel it back at times and be all cute and cuddly.
Of course.
Just need to smile and wave, boys. So that's the real reason we actually want to have that happen. So for those of you that are saying it's a poor judge of character, for those of you that are saying stop feeding the beast, I respect that. I appreciate that.
But still go to Big Baller Brand's website, contact us, and tell them you want to see him on
Seriously, everybody
Bruce
needs
Sports.
to go and tell them they need to come on Bruce Sports. So go to their contact us form and start sending them our
You know
way.
what's funny is if we do have him on, he would be, you know how we tell all our correspondents to mute themselves before we bring them on? He would be the only person to unmute themselves to chime in.
I would purposely tell him not to unmute him, to mute himself, so that way, as we're talking about whatever else, hearing him in the background would be phenomenal. It would be like we're talking about whatever. Be like, man, they talking about Tebow? Are they talking about LeBron? Like, come on, like Lonzo's so much better.
Can we talk about the new? Before we get into his ridiculous comments, can we talk about his shoe deal thing that's going on
let's
now?
do it.
Okay.
What about it?
So apparently we all know that he wanted $1 billion. That's it. That's all he asked for. He would even disperse it over 10 years, $100,000 a year for a shoe deal. Now the only deal he'll accept is a $3 billion shoe deal. Yeah. So
$3 billion.
Trevor says we want 1 million kajillion billion trillion dollars. He really reminds me of Dr. Evil from Austin Powers when he's like, "Why have $1 billion when you can have $1 million?"
Yes.
So LaVar Ball, you were Dr. Evil.
He really is. I mean, it's funny as heck to see this because he was coming under fire because people are like, well, why aren't you working with Nike? Why aren't you working with Adidas? And then he was obviously on FS1 yesterday saying, we don't need them.
Would that make Lonzo Ball his mini-me?
I think so. I feel like at this point, he's fully embraced the mini-me
Somebody
status.
please out there who has Photoshop, please send us a meme of LaVar Ball and Lonzo Ball on Dr. Evil and Mini-Me's heads. That would be absolutely amazing.
Somebody has to do this.
Yes.
That has to be, yes.
Oh, my God.
This is.
We're about to go viral.
I really hope we do, and we will take credit for all of it. We will. Louise says this is supposed to be the most watched show of all time. Tanner is back.
Yes, you have no idea.
It is. Trevor says Lonzo Ball's the Diet Coke of evil. That's the thing, too. Lonzo isn't the villain here.
No, he's not.
He's doing what he's supposed to do.
David's right. Mini-Me is likable. Lonzo is likable. Mini-Me has always been likable.
Right.
And at the end, if you've ever seen Goldmember, Mini-Me was the one that came out and helped Austin beat Dr. Evil.
Right.
So maybe if we're lucky, Lonzo Ball will realize how much of a total jerk his father is, and just come over to the rebellion and fight against the Empire.
I would think that would be amazing. Like LaVar, like, is he wearing like the Darth Vader mask, or is he wearing like the Darth Maul like hood that he reveals? And then you've got like.
So are we doing that too? Are you
and,
gonna,
and then if you got like Lonzo Ball, like, is he like the Anakin in Episode 3 with like the weird creepy ass red eyes, or like what's going on with this? Or is he like Luke or Obi-Wan?
Okay, so anybody that has After Effects, go out there, recreate the scene where
Make
Darth Vader
everything.
tells Luke that he is his father, and use LaVar Ball and Lonzo Ball and respective to those characters.
I think so. I think Adam's trying to make a push for the best comment of the day. He says LaVar Ball's GPA is lower than his points per game.
2.2, I think it was.
Right? I mean, he could be like Kelly Olynyk, though, and just have a great day every once in a
Oh
while.
my gosh.
I don't
It's
believe all of
ridiculous.
this. This is just ridiculous. $3 billion. And this is the funny thing, too, because I was looking on Big Baller Brand's website today because I had never been there. I'm like, I'm curious to know what it looks like.
Yep.
And we know how negative LaVar has been to women. They have a women's section on the site.
Yes, they
like,
do.
after he's been like, Big Baller Brand's not for women. It's not for you. Blah, blah, blah. Like, to hell with women, basically. Stay in your lane, Christine Leahy.
But they have a women's section on
But
their
they
site.
have 9 different options for women's clothing.
Unbelievable.
It doesn't make any sense.
This guy's an idiot.
I'm like, what do you, if you actually hate women, don't have a women's section. I don't
Also, just say it. So
Right.
we can just get it over with. Just say it. Stop letting us dance around it.
And
I
he's
mean,
all, and he's like the master deflector too. He's just like, I didn't say nothing. Like,
didn't he like drive his wife to the hospital or something too? Like
He drove her
we
somewhere,
haven't
that's
heard
for sure.
anything from her at all through
we
all of
haven't.
this. So
I'm pretty sure that she's just, he put her in a padded room somewhere and says, you better not come out.
oh my god.
You better. But then he like when he commented yesterday too. He's like, "You're gonna get what's coming to you." And the gal was like, "What? Are you threatening me?" He's like, "Oh, I didn't say that." He's like, and then my favorite line, he's like, "I'm not a psychic. I can't see the future. I don't know what's gonna happen to you." I'm like, "What the? What are you doing?
Yeah. I mean,
Who
it's-
says that stuff?"
It's just absurd. And apparently,
We say absurd things here, but I would never say something like that. And he's always like, "Are you just assuming?" He's like, "I would never hurt a woman." He's like, "I'm married. I'm good. Just because you're married doesn't mean you're good and you're all about women. That doesn't mean anything."
Oh my god. Apparently, LaVar Ball has also made some comments towards fat people.
Yeah, he told.
So apparently, it's okay to make fun of fat
He
people.
said Whitlock. He said Whitlock needs to focus on what he knows best, and that's snacks.
What a total jerk.
Yeah, and Colin was like, "Oh, that was a bit rude." I can find the clip. I've got the clip for you.
Totally ridiculous.
I
Are they
think-
bowling upstairs? Is that what's going on here?
So I'm waiting for them to just like blast through the wall, be like, "We're here."
We think they're literally building a wall behind us. So
Seriously, we
it's-
joked about it, but they
it's-
are building the wall.
It's ESPN trying to
They
break
are.
in through the back wall. Okay.
Oh my God. I'll get you the clip, but if you have something else, go ahead.
I want to talk about for my Thirsty Thursday all the stuff that had happened while I was gone.
There's a lot of stuff that
A lot of
happened
stuff had happened while I was gone. First off, let me just say it's ridiculous because I didn't really have an opportunity to research or talk about any of these things, and they're
I
very
know
important.
there was so many things that happened too.
They're very important, at least in my life. The Bills and the Sabres hired new general managers in the last 7 days. And I'm in Florida just soaking up the rays of the sun. So I literally know, aside from the fact that the Bills general manager was the assistant GM of Carolina and the Sabres general manager was the assistant GM of Pittsburgh, which we just fired the previous coach of Pittsburgh. So I don't know.
Might as well
much.
double down at this point.
People were asking me what I think and what my opinion is on these guys. And to be honest, my whole thing is until I see success, until I see some progress, it's the same old story. So, and this just in, second round pick, the Bills' second round pick, wide receivers, Zay Jones, I believe his name is. He apparently
See the one that
goes
had
down.
the OJ shirt on?
Yeah, he apparently goes down in practice today with a knee injury. They think it's a sprain, and he's going to miss some time. Go Bills.
All right, I've got the clip if you want to see it. Have you seen the full clip?
Wait, Luis says, I gained 7 pounds while Tanner was gone. Well, you know what? I gained probably about 7 pounds, too.
I don't even
so.
know if I did anything while you were gone. I mean, I went to Florida for part of the time you were gone.
You look like you were hanging out by the pool.
I drank margaritas. It was fun. I had a great time. I had two. That's the best strawberry margaritas you can possibly have. Is poolside in Naples, Florida.
Tom
I
says,
recommend it.
we had a general manager clearance sale at Kohl's with a 30% off coupon.
Aaron says that he missed you, Tanner. I'm so glad.
well, good.
I'm really glad
It's
that
good to
people
be
missed you. It is. All right, here's this LaVar Ball clip about Whitlock and snacks and women and all that. You're going to love this.
You know what? He don't need no credibility to say I'm a gangster and I do this and I do that. No, Lonzo's a ball player. He is who he is. And like I said, and going back to Whitlock, I don't think he can comment on anything but snacks.
Now,
Wow.
that's a little harsh.
It's going to be harsh because he want to be harsh
So
on
you
me.
disrespect
Guess what?
women and people for their weight?
No, that's what you say. I didn't say nothing about
No,
weight.
you just said that to me.
Like I told her, I'm not even worried about you right now. Keep in your lane.
Can you look
like
me
I
in the
said,
eye?
Whitlock, I don't want to look you in the eye. You scare me to death.
Oh.
Like I said,
Compliment.
Thank you.
yes, you scare.
They wouldn't want to work with you anyway because you don't respect women. So
She's after you today.
Oh, I don't respect
not.
women,
I'm
but
just-
I'm the one that's married. I'm good. Well, she can say what she wants. She's trying to put it. I never disrespect women. But I tell you what,
did on the show today.
if you act like that, guess what? Something's coming to you.
Oh.
And it's okay.
Do you think?
Are you threatening me?
Oh, see how she tried to turn the words? I would never threaten
You
you.
said something's coming to me.
I don't know what it is. I'm not a psychic.
He's not even looking at her. You can still be married and disrespect women, by the way. I'm just
Yes.
gonna just full disclosure.
Newsflash for anybody that doesn't know this.
Wow. Snacks, huh? That's it.
Right. I don't
I
know.
want him on this show, and I want a snack off between me and LaVar Ball, right? Like today. Get in here today, LaVar.
You don't know what's coming, though. He's not a psychic.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my Lord. David says, I feel like Baxter could eat a donut and lose 2 pounds somehow. Probably.
Probably.
That's very true.
Yes.
All right, let's get to Justin, Mr. Bradford. As we mentioned, one of the finest-looking gentlemen. Although he's wearing a similar tie to what LaVar Ball was wearing, it doesn't look like I see any BBB
I
on
hope
there.
it's not a big
I would be
Ball and
very
Brand tie.
concerned if it was. We may have to reconsider our correspondent vetting process. But he is back after a long hiatus. Justin, welcome back to Halftime. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right, guys. I don't know if I'm a 10, but I did receive a tan myself as I was on vacation last week as well.
There
Where'd
we
you go? Where'd you end up on your vacation there?
For the first time ever, and it was beautiful.
Ah, down in
Very
the great
nice.
city, down in the great state of South Carolina. I was semi-creeping on you on Facebook, so that's why I knew where you were. I mean, I had an intern. I had an intern do it. It wasn't me.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Sure.
I'm sorry. All right, David. Well, people down in Nashville, or should I say Smashville, are losing their minds right now in excitement, but also nervousness as well. People
little
don't
bit.
know what's going on. They are up 2-1 in the series, but I feel like until the final goal has been scored, until the final horn is blown, the Predators won't believe that they're actually this close to going to the Stanley Cup. What's the vibe from you specifically down in the city?
That vibe is continuing to grow, but kind of like you said, the team itself right now, they're still dialed in. You know, even after every single victory, even when they clinch a series as well, they're still extremely dialed in. They know they still have a long way to go to raise that cup over their head. So, and that's a good thing you want to see. Is they know that they have a long way to go too. So, in terms of every single post game, there's not really much smiling going on. They have a lot of focus still left, and that's something different that I've seen compared to other playoff series just for this team, that they have a lot to accomplish. They have a huge goal, obviously, coming in as statistically the worst team out of the regular season in terms of points and everything. They're the worst team in the playoffs. So the last seed, you would even call them the 16th seed, making it this far right now into the Final Four. So it's a tremendous accomplishment that they've had, but they know they have a long way to go. And how they continue to talk is they just keep pushing and pounding. They're finding a way to win. And the fans, on the other hand, though, this year, they understand there's a long way to go too. No one's celebrating early, but obviously every single win, the Bridgestone Arena just keeps getting louder and louder. It means 10 straight playoff wins at home for the Predators dating back to the last postseason. It's the first time since the Red Wings, I believe, in the late 90s, and they're only the 10th team to do that in the expansion era, which started in 67, 68. So pretty impressive for what the Nashville Predators have done just here at home.
Let's talk about the fans really quick for a second. What does this mean for the city of Nashville? I mean, they have a couple different professional sports franchises going on down there, but how important is hockey to the city? I mean, I've been on Broadway there, and seeing the arena there right at the end of Broadway is one of the most beautiful things. It is absolutely amazing. I would imagine the city is taking to this very well, as most success in sports franchises would do. But what does this really mean to the city, and are the fans reacting how you would expect them to react?
Oh, yeah. The bandwagon is growing, and that's extremely for a city, too, that's in the South. And, you know, people still use the term non-traditional, but now it really isn't non-traditional. It's a new traditional type of hockey market, and we're seeing that now because a lot of Canadian media, I'll kind of say this in terms of how you can tell the fan base here is growing up, where on a penalty kill, Victor Arvidsson was down in the offensive zone, and he killed off about 15 seconds of a penalty just by holding the puck in the zone, moving his body around, making sure the puck was still moving, but not freezing it. And the fans applauded that. That's a huge thing right there, just to recognize what he was able to do by killing off 15 seconds. That's 15 seconds that the Ducks weren't in the defensive zone for the Predators. So little things like that show how much this fan base has grown in terms of knowledge of the sport. And then considering that with the community too, there are Predator flags everywhere downtown, hanging from some of the really tall buildings, hanging out windows that open up. The Sobro Tower here, there's 3 huge gold flags hanging from windows there. Banner hanging outside. The Stand With Us sign has been to the Ryman, to the Nashville Sounds Stadium. It's everywhere, and it's important because Nashville's actually a really good sports town. Most people associate it just with college sports or with the NFL, but with the NHL growing here, people are seeing something special, and they're seeing something special grow in terms of people always want a winner. Every town wants a winner, and we haven't had that here since the Titans made their run to the Super Bowl. It changes things, and not just with that too, but the Predators are hosting big time home games, whereas the Titans they only were able to host the Bills.
Come on!
I just realized that when I was saying it. I'm sorry, Tanner.
Oh.
But really, when you think about it, that was the last big home moment in sports history in Nashville. That was
the
a
last
long
big playoff moment for the Bills too, Justin.
I'm so sorry. But in terms of being able to host big time home moments, that's the great thing about the NHL and other sports that obviously have best of 7 series or best of series, is that they get to host big moments here at home. So the fans here, the city of Nashville, is getting to experience that, whether it's out in the plaza or the huge Walk of Fame park. They have a huge big screen showing these games to people that can't make it. The city's really coming together, and it's just really important for the community to come together when there's so many things outside that are affecting things. People need something to cheer for, something to be happy about.
I can understand now why Justin is not your favorite correspondent. While Sonia is.
When it comes to a well-rounded Anaheim Ducks team, what is the biggest obstacle that the Predators need to overcome here to make it to the finals? And then who would you rather see in the finals, Ottawa or Pittsburgh?
That's a good question. The Anaheim series was kind of neat building up to this because Chicago and St. Louis were 2 completely different styles of teams. Chicago obviously was more speed and skill up front, and then St. Louis, much bigger bodies, willing to hit, be physical. Well, Anaheim is a combination of the 2 of those. And so the good thing for the Predators coming into that series is they played both styles. Now they just had to mesh those styles together to see how they could play against Anaheim. It took some adjustment, as we saw in Game 2, but the Predators lost. They played one of their worst games of the playoffs again. But the good thing is for the Predators, 3 of their bad games in the playoffs have only been 1-goal losses aside from that empty net that Anaheim scored.
That's true.
So to be able to play and still be in a game and have an opportunity to win a game speaks volumes for the Nashville Predators. The big battle for them has been in faceoffs, whereas the Ducks, you have Ryan Getzlaf, Ryan Kessler, and Antoine Vermette, who are stellar in the faceoff dot, and they were even second overall in the regular season in the league in faceoffs. So that's a huge battle right there, especially battling big bodies in faceoffs. But the Predators, with the last change at home in Game 3, we saw them win 56% of faceoffs, which was a tremendous battle because of possession. And possession is what they won as well, where their numbers and shot totals were just ridiculous, especially in the second period right there too. So some of the keys to how they beat Anaheim is not getting goaded into the style of game that Anaheim plays too, which Anaheim totes the line in terms of the physical play and the rule play and everything like that. And we've seen that plenty just with Ryan Johansson's comments about Ryan Kessler and having a stick in the groin. So Anaheim kind of plays along that gray area a little bit, where sometimes they get called, sometimes they don't. In terms of the final, I think for the Predators, just get there for them would probably be Ottawa, even though Ottawa's scary right now. But Pittsburgh, if they get healthy, they're obviously scary too. And if Crosby's playing at the top of his game as well as Malkin, it's going to be tough as well. But we saw what happens with a depleted Pittsburgh lineup last night and how they just got destroyed by Ottawa by having so many guys missing. So you know what? It's the playoffs. Anything can happen. I don't think there's a preferable matchup necessarily for the final now as we get to that point, because the Predators, if they make it to the final, they'll have beaten Chicago, St. Louis, and Anaheim, 3 really good teams, and especially Anaheim and Chicago being favorites to make it to the final. So that'd be my perspective on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you said, though, too. I mean, with Ottawa putting in 5 goals last night against a depleted Pittsburgh team, it has to raise a little bit of a concern if you are a Predators fan, potentially having to think about facing, Ottawa in the Stanley Cup. But it's an exciting time nonetheless, whether you are a fan of any of these 4 teams. Anytime you can call yourself one of the Final 4 in any playoff series, I feel like you have to be excited about it. And I think, too, Justin, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, even if Nashville loses this series, knock on wood. Sorry, I don't mean to curse the entire city of Nashville. If they lose this series, you think this still has to be a success in the eyes of the fans and even the organization as well, too. I think nothing was expected of this team, and they've just completely blown all expectations sky high through the roof. Is that a safe assumption in this perspective?
Going into the playoffs, I'd say that's a safe assumption. If you go back to the beginning of the regular season, it wouldn't be. And the reason why is a lot of media, a lot of the big wigs, the talking heads, picked the Predators to win the Stanley Cup just based on paper, based on the skills on paper. Well, the regular season came and went, and the Predators are a very average team. They showed, signs of being a really good and dominant team, but then they couldn't put a win streak together of over, I believe, 4 games. That's not good when you think about how's this team going to perform in the playoffs. But we all knew the talent level was there. They battled a lot of injuries during the regular season as well. But when you go in as the last wild card, expectations obviously aren't going to be high. The fans, when they knew that the Predators were going to face Chicago, a little nervous because, 2 previous times, the Blackhawks have beat them, and in pretty dominant fashion as well, too, once the Predators lost that pivotal game. And then Chicago goes on to win the Stanley Cup. So I think now, though, the expectations are they want the cup. But when you look at the perspective of what this team was able to accomplish, what it did for the city, and what it did just to show the world, the hockey world especially, that Nashville's a great hockey town again, I would say that is definitely a success here. But now they have a 2-1 series lead. The expectations continue to rise with every single game. And boy, oh boy, when I look at Pred's Facebook and see what happens after a loss, even if they have a series lead, the expectations are very high because people cray.
You know that. Real quick, one more question. Is there one glaring weakness that the Predators have? I mean, like you said, they've beaten some very good teams. They've swept the Blackhawks, which nobody expected. I mean, I didn't expect. A lot of people consider the Blackhawks a dynasty in modern hockey,
Absolutely.
this modern hockey era. And then to go up against St. Louis, and then now they're leading against Anaheim. Is there one glaring weakness that maybe could hold them back? I don't know if there are any Ducks officials watching the show, but I think you're safe. Is there anything that stands out to you that may hold them back from making it to the finals?
The biggest question mark always, especially going in the playoffs, was Pekka Rinne, and he's been absolutely fantastic the entire playoffs, aside from the one loss to the Anaheim Ducks, where he just didn't look as good. That's okay. With the way he's played overall, a bad game is going to be okay, but everything stands on his shoulders. If he can play strong, obviously they have a really good chance of winning the cup. If Pekka Rinne kind of goes back to regular season Rinne and the majority of the regular season where he's more average or just above average, then that's going to be a glaring weakness. The other thing would just be they're very new. There's not as much experience in terms of playing this far in the playoffs for this team because they're actually a fairly young team, aside from really Mike Fisher, who's obviously played in the Stanley Cup final before when he was with Ottawa. So leadership will be a very key point there for Mike Fisher as they continue to progress. But the youth can hurt you, or it can also be a very good thing because you don't know what it's like, so keep pushing. So it's making sure they don't get goaded into bad play or unsmart play like they did in in game 2 against Anaheim. You don't want to go into another team's game plan. You have to stick to your game plan. And the times the Predators have lost is when they've tried to adjust too much to play the style of hockey that the other team was playing. But when we see them play their game plan, their style, whether it's the trap or whether it's winning faceoffs, cycling the puck in the offensive zone, their speed and their skill, that's when they're going to be successful. So if anything, those would be a couple of things to watch out for. But this team is clicking and banging on all cylinders right now too. So it's just been very exciting to watch the high skill level talent that most of us knew the Predators are capable of, but finally be able to do it right now.
PK Subban, obviously a very likable guy, but you guys had Shea Weber as a captain down there for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He very well respected. Is he missed at all from this Nashville fan base, or are they just kind of closing the door on that situation?
I think throughout the regular season, I would see continuous posts of, we'll just trade him back. Can we have him back? I don't like PK. And PK is battling injury. So you can see the real PK until basically the playoffs. And even then, he's not having that pressure put on him to be the number one guy, which is great. You have a top 4 that's producing throughout, whether it's Ryan Ellis, Roman Josi, Ekholm, or Subban, which is great. So I think as the team continues to progress, the fading of missing Shea goes away, especially when Montreal's not even in it anymore. People realize, okay, the team's doing really well without him. I think we're going to be okay. The biggest thing is looking at contract situations where if Shea Weber retires early, Nashville's going to be paying a big penalty sum. So that's the one thing, too, in terms of organizationally missing that right there. But overall, in the ice factor, people still miss the big hit. They miss the slap shot. But when they see the performance of Ryan Ellis and PK Subban and what they're able to bring to it now, because Ellis has a very underrated slap shot. It is wicked, wicked fast and wicked hard, and you don't realize it because he's such a tiny guy. He's like a little leprechaun on the ice, but he has a really hard shot. From the beard. It's all the power is all from the beard right there, too.
Of course.
The power of the beard.
But that's forget a little bit. Not, you don't forget what he contributed to the team or obviously the community or two, but it makes you be more okay with what happened because you knew something had to change in order for the Predators to take it to the next level.
All right, Justin, well, we got to let you run, but we are very grateful for your time, of course, as we always are here on Bruce Sports. Where can people find you on the social media universe?
Absolutely. It's at Justin B. Bradford everywhere. Thanks, guys.
There you go. Nice and easy. Perfect,
Thank you.
Justin. We'll talk to you soon, sir. Thank you. All right, there goes Justin Bradford, one of our great NHL correspondents here on the Bruce Sports Network.
It's always fun to talk with him.
It is. He's one of those great guys that just, you can see the passion in his voice. You can sense that he loves what he does, and that certainly makes
And his team's playing well, too, so
that always helps.
it's always good to have him on.
I mean, aren't a lot of people more entertaining and more loving when their team is doing well?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know.
I can't even wait till NFL season starts so we can find out who the real Tanner Burke is.
Oh, my God.
The real Tanner Burke, please stand up.
It's going to be rough. Moody
It
Monday
is.
is going to have a totally different meaning. You have no idea.
It probably will, in all honesty.
You have
But
no idea.
Lord willing, we'll be able to recover and not have to heckle with that too
Yes.
much. So, all right. Any other final things you want to hit on, sports related, before we dip out for the day, good sir?
I think I'm all squared away, my friend.
Yeah, I think we did a pretty good job of covering all our bases today. Honestly, like I said, there's just a lot. There's a lot going on in the sports world that has been positive and negative. The LaVar Ball thing obviously just kind of takes the cake from a lot of different people. But one of the final things that I wanted to talk about briefly before we get out of here today actually is not the greatest way to end a show. It's never fun when this happens. But we here at Bruce Sports, unfortunately, lost somebody very near to our hearts today, actually. One of our great NFL correspondents, Gregg Schwartz, actually passed away earlier this morning. He contracted a very rare form of cancer that just completely took over his body a lot faster than not only his family, but the doctors and nurses expected as well. Our hearts go out to Gregg Schwartz and his family. He was phenomenal and just pure class and just fun-loving and just everything that you'd want, not only in a friend, but also in a correspondent as well, too. And we're very grateful for everything that he did, and we wish him and his family the very best as they continue to get through this very hard time right now. So it's kind of surreal. It hasn't really set in yet because we found out 20 minutes before we went on the air, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Very sad.
You got to obviously work with him a little bit more than I did, just because he was a consistent guest on Pick 6 as well too. Do you have any fun memories or any funny things that happened when you were working with Gregg at all, Tanner?
It was always great because I could always count on him if I didn't have a correspondent or something like that. You know, I'd send something out into the group chat, so I'd ask somebody if they want to talk about this or that, and I'd get a couple no's and a couple maybes, and Gregg was always right there, just ready to jump in, and he always provided some great content too. He had some great opinions, and it was always fun to have him on. And he was the kind of guy that you could just talk with him for the whole show, really. I mean, we've had a couple correspondents last, 30, 40 minutes sometimes, and Gregg was that kind of guy. So it really is sad, and it's a shame. Of course, our hearts and prayers go out to Gregg and his family. As this is not an easy time, I'm sure. So
I can't even imagine, in all honesty. I mean, like I said, it's a sad time, but he was in pain. So I mean, I'm very thankful that he no longer has to deal with that pain anymore. So our prayers go out to his wife Angel and the rest of the family. And we definitely will be continuing to honor Gregg Schwartz as well and the memories that he gave us on Bruce Sports. So
absolutely.
Sorry to end in such a downer way, but we just wanted to make sure we properly gave the time and the air that was needed for Gregg Schwartz. So special thanks to him for everything he did for us. He is Tanner Burke. I'm Baxter Colburn. We will be back here again for a Friday edition of Halftime tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time. So make sure to tune in for that. Some programming stuff coming up for you today. 2 Up Front is actually broadcasting at 1 p.m. today. And Pick 6, Tanner Burke, James Stewart, they'll be back at 3:30 p.m. today. All live on Facebook, YouTube, and Spreaker, and on our website, brucesportsnet.com. Make sure to check it out. For Tanner Burke, I'm Baxter Colburn. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow on Halftime.